adjusting the camera just so this. Okay, great. Yeah. Good day, everyone, wherever you are. I hope you're all feeling comfortable. For my first video, I'm going to list down the first 15 books that I've read so far in 2021. This is in line with my Goodreads Reading Challenge. I challenge myself to read 100 books and hopefully go through all of the books in my bookshelf. Most of them I haven't read yet. Let's get started. Good. So for the first book, I have Are There God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume. It's the first book I read this year. And so just a little background. It's, of course, I don't know if you still need a little background on this. This is Judy Blume and it's her most popular book. But yeah, I've actually read her other books before, like Tiger Eyes, Dini, Blubber, and of course Forever. But for some reason, I haven't gotten around to this, her most popular book. So, maybe just the background. It was an age novel published in the 80s. Most of Judy Blume's books are coming-age novels. So it's about the main character, Margaret, who's about to turn 13, and I think if you've ever been 13, or currently 13, it's, I'd probably say, like, you go through some changes, and there's like a lot of things going around in your life. So, just some plot points in the story. The secret club, she comes into town and she forms a secret club. No, she doesn't form a secret club. Wait, I forgot. So she forms a secret club of 4 members. We talk about bras and boys. Kind of reminds me actually of Claudia and Stacy in the Babysitters Club. But yeah, it's just I've heard of this book being so controversial in a lot of banned books, a list of banned books before, because of its controversial topics like religion, physical development, having to tackle it, getting a bra for the first time. So I think that even in 2021, this still stands the test of time, because the topic is still relevant, because religion is still seen as a major part of a person's life. Although, we see more and more people getting more open-minded about having this a certain religion or having no religion at all. So yeah, as you can see, I have annotated two points in this book. So I guess the first one, I think I know what the first one is. It's this line: we must increase the bust. I don't know, I've heard this before in high school, but I didn't know that this line came from this book. So yeah, it was really, really interesting for me to discover it. It was a line from this book because, of course, since they were 13, I think one of their concerns was who was going to wear a bra first. So yeah. The second annotation, so it's about Margaret and her conundrum, her difficulty in her confusion. Like, she doesn't get it, like, why, how is it that she's the only one who doesn't have religion yet, and why does, like, everyone in her class has religion and she doesn't? But there's background. I think her father and mother are of different religions. One is Christian, one is Jewish, and so that's kind of like where her confusion starts. I guess, like, they don't raise her in just one religion. They want to they want to let her discover it on her own, which is good, which should be the norm, that you don't impose religion on your child. You should let her discover it on her own, because it's something that it should be chosen for you. You should be able to choose it on your own. So that's the first book. The second book is Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. This is actually the first book I've read from him, and it's a short read, and I think it's only about 118 pages. So, as you can see, these are all yellowed. Most of my books are actually secondhand, or I buy them from secondhand bookstores. He's a winner of the Nobel Prize for his realistic and imaginative writings, combining as they do sympathetic humor and keen social perception. So, I can't verify this on my own yet, because I've only read this book, but yeah, I know that John Steinbeck is one of the great writers out there. Was one of the great writers out there. So Giant of Mice and Men is a book about two farmers who, at the beginning of the book, were actually running away from this farm that they worked at to go to another farm, because I think they were escaping, or I think they were fired. So, Of Mice and Men is a timeless novel of every man's desire for a land of his own. The story of lonely, ruthless men who till soil that belongs to others, who never eat from the seeds they plant. The Chicago Tribune wrote, "Brutality and tenderness mingle in these strangely moving pages. The reader is fascinated by the certainty of approaching doom." In the New York Times, a thriller, a gripping tale that you will not set down until it is finished. I'm sure raucous, vulgar Americanism, Steinbeck has touched the quick. Of Mice and Men has a memorial heartbreak, the rough-tongued ribaldry, the inarticulate yearning of homeless men moving into the book. Whew, big words for me. But yeah, I think they got to the heart of what Of Mice and Men is. It's about the plight of farmers in the 1920s. Hopefully I got it right. But I think it was set in the 1920s. So here you see like a lot of foreshadowing in some chapters that is just heartbreaking. It's about two farmers, Lenny and George, who till the land of other people, and at the beginning of the novel they were just going to another farm because they finished this job in the previous farm, and they're going to another farm to get another job, to get a better pay, I guess. But it's, so as you can see, I don't know if it's a spoiler, but I think you can see, I don't think it is a spoiler, because at the beginning of the novel, they say that George is a mentally challenged person, and Lenny is the one taking care of him. So I don't know if they're not cousins. They're not anything. They just want to take care of him. But this is a heartbreaking story from start to finish, because it really gives you a view of what life is for farmers, for tenant farmers, for those who farm lands that aren't their own. And it's not just George and Lenny. You also see some other characters here, like the African American farmer who has tilled the soil of this current farm, and the current farm that George and Lenny went to for like decades, and not having a land of his own. Could also you really have a feel for Lenny and George. Also, you will notice that in the book there is only one female character in the book, and most would say that she is a villain, but she isn't really. She shouldn't be made a villain in the book. You can see that she's the only female character, and she's the only one with no name in the book. Like, it's just the girl. So you kind of also see like how girls were just in the backdrop of of men's lives back then. Also, at the end, you can read through most of this, but it's just a heartbreaking story. So there's that. Okay, so for the next book, we have The Kids in Miss Coleman's Class, number 11, Spell Me by Anna Morgan. So, this is a very short read. This is actually for kids, of course. This is a very short read, but I am such a big fan of the Babysitters Club. I have been collecting Babysitters Club books for over 2 decades now, I think. Yeah. This book is part of a spin-off series from the very successful Babysitters Club series and the other spin-off, actually, the Karen series. Karen being the younger sister of Christy Thomas, the main character in the Babysitters Club. So this particular book, is about a boys versus girl kind of plot, but the boy is kind of an outsider. So, yeah, I like reading through it. For my 4th book, I can't remember where the dust jacket is, so I'll find it later somehow. But yeah, this is Hello Universe by Erin Entrada Kelly. Woohoo! So, just a brief background. This is a 2018 Newbery Honor Awardee. Really meaningful to me because it's the first Filipino-based story. Not Filipino-based story, but it's a Filipino-inspired story to have become a Newbery Honor Awardee, and it's just amazing. Like, I've read Newbery Honor Awardees before, from Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Weasley, Frank Whaler, by E.L. Konigsberg, Dear Misha Henshaw, and other books. But this is the first time that this is a Filipino-inspired novel became a Newbery Honor Awardee. I'm so nervous. I really don't know why. Oh, okay. So this is very interesting because it uses Philippine mythology in its plot line, and it's really, really good. So as you can see, I have annotated 2 parts here. Let me see what I can't remember actually what I annotated here. Oh yeah. I can't spoil these because these are later twists in the book. So it's about Virgilio and his family, and how he is an outsider. Even in his family, he is treated as an outsider, which is kind of sad because he's already being treated as an outsider in class. In his family, he also feels different because he is the only quiet one in the film. So, yeah. You can see here, this is actually a signed copy from her. So, yeah. When the Universe Speaks, Listen. So yeah, it's really great. I was able to meet her back in 2018. It was a 2-day book event at some hotel, I think. So this one. Give it. The next book that I read is 13 Little Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson. So here, everything about Ginny will change this summer. So actually, I already know about this book like maybe 10 years ago, but 10 years or more than 10 years ago, but I've never really gotten around to buying a copy of it until now. But yeah, it's me who receives um, 13 little blue envelopes, as the title aptly describes, from her aunt who passed away, I think, months ago, or was it a year ago? So yeah, it's about it's 13 envelopes with instructions from my aunt, and she's been instructed to read them in order, and that she can only read them when she's done doing what she did in the previous envelope. So yeah, it was really good, for people who like traveling. If you want to, it mentions like wonderful places like Paris, for sure, Greece. Yeah, it's really about Ginny wanting to Ginny going on an adventure just based off 13 little blue envelopes from her aunt, which by the way, if I were her at that age, at 17, I might not do it. I don't know, but there's a little surprise in the end, like a little there's a little nice surprise in the end for Ginny when she goes through it. But yeah, I don't think my parents would allow me to go on the same adventure that Ginny had. The next one, this is the most annotated book out of 15. This is Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett. As you can see, it's also a used. I bought it at a secondhand bookshop. So yeah, I won't even attempt to I don't know, read this in my describe it in my own words. The storyline evolves around two seemingly homeless men waiting for someone or something named Godot. Vladimir and Estragon wait near a tree on a barren stretch of road, inhabiting a drama spun from their own consciousness. The result is a comical wordplay of poetry, dreamscapes, and nonsense, which has been interpreted as a somber summation of mankind's inexhaustible search for meaning. Beckett's language pioneered an expressionistic minimalism that captured the existentialism of post-World War II Europe. His play remains one of the most magical and beautiful allegories of our time. So yeah, it's a play. It should have been a short read, but since it's so absurdist, I guess. It's so the word, I think the right word is, it's so surreal that you have to absorb the words for far longer than you would physically read them. So it's a tragic comedy in 2 acts, and it's about 2 people who are in a tree, or near a tree, or waiting for someone or something named Godot, and while waiting they encounter very interesting characters, and they ponder the meaning of life, and yeah, it's just really interesting. Yes, so as you can see, I've annotated a lot because it's just okay. So this one, the first annotation was because it was the first instance of the title being mentioned. We're waiting for Godot. So yeah, the second, others are just just important notes that I have, because because some of the characters give long speeches, and it's just really interesting. So yeah, definitely go check this out. It says here, one of the true masterpieces of the century, and I'd like to agree with it, because I think at its time it was just, I think it just blended with the atmosphere of that time. So yeah, go check this out. The next 2 books that I have are from the Babysitters Little Sister sister series, the Karen series, the one that I mentioned a while ago. So this series is about Karen, as I described before, the younger sister of Christy Thomas in the Babysitters Club original series. So these are two books in the series. One is Karen's Haircut, the other is Karen's Tea Party. So these are just about mini adventures of Karen. So as with the other book, like the kids in Miss Coleman's class, these are also short reads, but they're really, really fun to read. I think in this Karen's Haircut, you can see that, Karen didn't like her haircut that much. And in this one, Karen's Tea Party, I think the reason for it was that, Karen and David Michael is the younger brother of Christy Thomas, and they were very they didn't have the best table manners, so they were sent at a class. And so Karen decided to have a tea party to celebrate the achievements she had in the etiquette class. So this is very, very fun to read. Next two books are actually graphic novels. The Umbrella Academy. It's the second and the third books in the series. So the second book is called Dallas, and the third book is Hotel Oblivion. So as you all know, I think so Umbrella Academy is a Netflix original series, and I've actually already read the first installment of this way back before the Umbrella Academy was announced to become a Netflix series. So these two are just a continuation of actually this second book, Dallas, is exactly similar to the second season of somewhat similar to the second season of Umbrella Academy. Also the third book, Hotel Oblivion, it's also quite similar to the plot in the Netflix series. Just a few adjustments in the plot, if you will. So I actually bought this in a comic convention, and I bought these ones at discounted prices, really, really discounted prices. So they were a steal for these two. So they were very good, and you can see the art. The art is just so nice. See. Also this one. So there's that. Okay. The next one is also a play, but it's a very, very short one. I think it's just 47 pages. So it's Medea? Okay, I have to search that one. Okay, it's Medea by Euripides. So it's just 47 pages. It's about Jason of the Argonauts. It's about Jason's wife, Medea, who was selfishly abandoned by Jason. Jason told her that, okay, I'm marrying this girl from the land that we're staying in, and I don't know, it's just, this saying hell hath no fear, like woman's scorn, of that very famous line, hell really hath no fury like a woman's scorn, because you can see here how Medea was just like, just devastated by that news, and because she and Jason already had 2 kids. So for Jason to abandon all of that and go to some random chick just because she's a daughter of the leader there in the land that they're staying in, it's just, I don't know. I am trying to understand Jason here, but yeah, nope. He's an ass. You can see here I've annotated 2 parts here. Let me see why. Oh yeah. No, this is the long speech from Medea. Okay, so man, when he's tired of accompanying his home, goes out of the house and puts an end to his boredom, and turns to a friend or companion of his own age. But we meaning women, we are forced to keep our eyes on one alone. What they say of us is that we have a peaceful time living at home, while they do the fighting in war. How wrong they are! I'd very much rather stand 3 times in front of the battle than bear 1 child. Yeah, so you can see the struggles of a woman in a very patriarchal society being written about here. So yeah, this is Medea, very please. Okay, so next one is a compilation of essays by a neurosurgeon here in the Philippines. It's Some Days You Can't Save Them All by Ronnie E. Baticulan. And it's a really, if your eyes haven't opened yet to the ugly reality of our public health system here in the Philippines, then this will definitely do that to you. You can see here the struggles of poor people who are just scrambling to find funds for their loved ones just to get that much needed surgery. I can't remember some of the technical terms that were mentioned here, like how they needed this and that surgery. But yeah, it's a heartbreaking compilation of essays, and Dr. Baticulan, writes them so well that it will really tug at your heartstrings. Honestly, there were some parts of in this book that I cried. Not really cried, but there were tears in my eyes. So there's this line at the back of the book, and it's also inside the book. I wasn't choosing among A, B, C, and D on a test paper anymore. I had stood between life and death, and I faltered. So yeah, because when you're a surgeon, you don't get a multiple choice anymore. You can't get it wrong anymore. You're not allowed to get it wrong, because if you choose the wrong answer, then someone dies. So it's a really big burden on doctors. And yeah, so go check this out. It's, I think, just only 40 pesos in the UB Press Shopee account or Lazada account. You can go check them out. Yeah, it's just, I think the reason why this resonated with me also was at the same time that I was reading this, I was also watching New Amsterdam, this American TV show that's also about the reality of the public health system in the US. So you can see some instances where the public health system in a developed country like the US still have the same issues as the public health system in a developing country like the Philippines. So yeah, it's really interesting. So I suggest if you're going to read this, maybe you'd also want to watch New Amsterdam, so you can see you can compare similarities and maybe some differences of course, between these two public health systems. So there's that. So the last 3 books are from my favorite book series ever. I don't think you've heard of it before. No, I've been mentioning it throughout this whole video. It's the Babysitters Club. Yeah, so these are 3 books of the entire series that I haven't read yet, or I haven't had a copy yet, which basically means that I haven't read it yet because I don't have a copy. So yeah, this Babysitters Club series is the basis for the spin-off series, the Little Sister series, which is about Karen, and the other spin-off series, Kids in Miss Coleman's Class. So these 3 books are The Ghost at Dawn's House. This Babysitters Club number 9. Goodbye, Stacy, Goodbye. Babysitters Club number 13. Claudia, Queen of 7th Grade. BSC number 106. So the Babysitters Club series is known for like there's various hotlines inside each book. There's always like there's the main plot, and then there's like other plots in there, but they just weave so beautifully, even though that some of the books aren't already written by Annie Martin, but by some of the ghostwriters in Scholastic. So yeah, it's really nice to be able to have a copy of these. Hopefully someday I will be able to complete my collection of the Babysitters Club. I mentioned before, I've been collecting them for over 2 decades now, and yeah, whenever I get a chance to see like, a book that I haven't read yet in this series, I will grab a copy. I will try to find a copy and read it and put it in my collection. So yeah, as you can see here, there's only one book out of the 3 has an annotation, and it's at the Ghost of Dawn's House, and it's just the very beginning. And I think it's because of the food that Dawn and Jeff, Dawn's younger brother, made. This is also interesting, like the food that that Dawn also prepares, because she's described as a vegetarian, but I think like basing on the food that she eats, I think she's a vegan also. I don't know if vegan was a term back then, but judging from her habits and the food she eats, she's definitely a vegan. So yeah, so that's Dawn. Goodbye, Stacy, Goodbye. This is about Stacy leaving Connecticut to go back to New York. The next one is about Claudia being the Queen of 7th Grade, because at the start of series, there were actually the 4 of them are in the 7th grade, and by the 6th book they were already in the 8th grade. But then Claudia Kishi got held back because of some academic delinquencies. She got held back and had to repeat 7th grade. So yeah, so this is about Claudia ruling 7th grade. So yeah, these are the 3 books. And that's it. So these are the books that I read from January to January. Some I read in January, some I read in February, and I think the last three books I read in March. Yeah, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you really like it, just comment down below what you've read so far, and like this video.